The mission was supposed to be simple. That mission being repair the automated security network. But that won't be as simple as it seemed. The ASN isn't broken, it just has a new target. And that target is you. Well, all humans, but you now. Problem is that these unbeatable threats were starting to feel more like minor inconveniences, which was causing routine to feel a little routine, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, the robots are pretty scary, but they're also slow, loud as hell, and their heavy steps suggest that they aren't even built to handle their own weight. It stays this way for a while too, until chapter 4. This is the point in the game where routine figuratively catches you with your pants down, or literally, I guess. Do you, homie? I can pretty easily avoid the robots. Even if I do get caught slipping, I can usually book it to a door with no issue. But the rules change in the server room, and here it seems darker, quieter. Even the air feels heavier. Also, there's blood on the floor, and whatever this is, it's clearly broken, like something went through it, which normally would be an indicator not to turn my back to it, but it's unfortunately going to be necessary. While scanning the security screen, a creature lunges from behind, letting out a distorted, whiny, manic laugh. Hand to heart, it didn't even feel like the monster would be something to worry about. There was a log that said it could be seen with one of the modules on the cat tool, but to that point in the game, the only ops were the bots. But I'm not gonna lie, I kinda shit bricks back on the first floor. The monster, who is referred to as Entity A, who I'll be calling ETA, because I'm not saying all that over and over again, is about 8 feet tall, give a foot, hunchbacked, with arms the size of legs and legs the size of... Actually, he looks like a spaghettified version of that dude from the Lovely Bones, but with the pale, moist, shriveled skin of those pigs that you would dissect in school, which makes our current subtask of deciphering the code for this door a bit more difficult. You got an old fuzzy paper covered in scribbles and dried blood, and some faded Polaroids with points of interest on them, which, if that was the only roadblock, easy peasy. GG's. But with the added bonus of this... you have to be very cautious, especially considering he can turn invisible while he's hunting you. Yay. Everything the robots fall short on, ETA more than makes up for. I confidently stepped around those robots. I hid like a coward from ETA. The robots go into a sleep mode, but ETA perches in dimly lit corners, waiting for you to drop your guard. The robots are much slower than you. ETA is... well, I actually don't know for sure. There was no way I was testing that theory. The few times that I did turn around to check behind me, he was pretty damn close. Had to pull the cat out on him. But after more hiding than I'd like to admit, I followed the clues to each key and deciphered the code with my galaxy brain, which allowed for me to cross the cold, wide open surface of the moon. The floor in this part of the base is a bit wet, but we must press on in order to upgrade our security clearance, which brings us to yet another cold, disheveled room that kind of looks like a break room, but if we take a peek through this wall covering, we can see that the neighboring room was used for a dissection. Who in the hell would put that next to a room people relax and eat their leftover tuna fish in is beyond me. But what do I know? This is my first time on a moon base. My first time in space, actually. Mom, I want to go home. Cautiously, I continued to not only scavenge for clues, but peeked around corners to make sure ETA wouldn't get the jump on me again. Which proved to be useless when I found the next left behind ID that I need. What the fuck, man? I thought just maybe ETA wouldn't be able to follow me over to this part of the base. But he did, and now I have to be even more cautious than I already was. Okay, a bit of a roadblock, or more like rumble strips, but I got the ID. That's all that matters. Under the impression I just need codes or hints for where I'd need to go next, I found something a bit more interesting in the emails of this dusty, decaying computer. One of the researchers was informing their superior they had discovered a dead, large animal. You're telling me there's more than one? Nonetheless, it seems like the dissection lab will be the next logical place to go. But that's not possible because we're contaminated with EL9, which is the virus that's causing this. Yeah, so that's fun. If that weren't bad enough, a malfunction is preventing the chemical mixture that would disinfect you from being made. I'm sure you can guess what that means. It's time again to search for a way to move forward with ETA lurking through the halls. His heavy footsteps are like wet socks full of potatoes. His mucusy, throaty noises that are beginning to sound more like crying and gasps cut through the stale air of this rotting moon base. Many cautious tippy toes and vent crawls later, I reach the lab with the chemicals needed to create the EL9 disinfectant. After gallons of wasted chemicals, I finally figured out the right combination. The fungus, I guess, is what it is, that sprouted from the virus, it didn't just die. It didn't just die. It basically evaporated into the air. So, success. But don't you dare assume that making it back to the shower chamber is going to be a cakewalk. That darker than usual, blood-covered room that I evaded ETA in earlier is the same room he caught me sneaking out of a vent in. As I peeked around the corner, ETA did as well, but I was sure to not allow our eyes to meet. I would love to tell you all that I handled this like a pro gamer, but the fingers were slamming against the keys, and those same keys were becoming increasingly sweatier, which had me stumbling over myself to get back into the vent. Thinking the coast was clear, I peeked back out, but there he was, just sitting, waiting. Legit one of the scariest moments in my playthrough. My feet were literally tingling, anticipating being grabbed from behind. Keep your mind out of the gutter. There was finally a break in the dark, grimy rooms once I made it into the blindingly bright, grimy room. It was a sight to behold, to say the least. A dead researcher with plants growing through them, what I'm assuming is the head of the other creature that more closely resembles a deflated balloon. But the most interesting thing I found is on this papper. Long before I arrived on this moon base, this creature was surviving alongside the humans. I'm going to take an educated guess and say that it could turn invisible as well. So most, if not all people, never noticed it was living among them, slowly transferring EL9 to people, dooming them to lose their minds. The only reason we don't see it here with ETA is because it met its demise by choking on an apple. I know, anticlimactic. But have you seen the neck on this thing? I can totally understand how that happened. This creature also had some lady parts, which suggests it may have a male counterpart. I don't know. That does. It's obviously ETA. Next hour or so was a complete blur of navigating tunnels and making sure ETA wasn't waiting for me around a corner. It's pretty safe to say at this point I'm infected with the EL9 too. Between the sudden dizzy spells and the tunnel running, which ended with me injecting brine into some type of alien egg. How else do you explain that? Oh, and the voices. You hear voices too.
Don't give up.
So I'm definitely infected, not really any question about it. Honestly, I don't even know if that matters, because we have successfully completed this part of our mission, which basically was to perform an ultrasound on the tunnel that people have been going missing in. Now, that same tunnel is calling us, and we must get to it by any means necessary. Seems like I'm in a bit of a pickle. What do you want with me, man? I didn't do nothing to you. After being thrown, I stopped running. My trigger finger was itchy, but I froze. I needed to know why ETA wanted me to activate the terminal. And there it was, down on his knees, shoulders lowered and his heavy arms just resting on the floor. ETA wasn't just some savage, rabid space killer. He was a man mourning the loss of his partner. Presumably, there's speculation that this might be a sibling, but based off of clues and the fact that it being his partner hits a little bit harder, that's what we're gonna go with, okay? ETA was feeling the pain that most people wish they'd never have to feel. If anything, him attacking the humans might be more justified than not. Isn't that incredible? This whole time we look at ourselves as the hero, the Survivor. And no, we didn't directly take ETA's partner from him, but the existence of humans on the moon more or less made us the invaders, which led to her death. Talk about turning the tables. Games that end this way will always have a bigger impact on me than games where the bad guy is just a bad guy because bad guy. Other games can still be great even with shallow villains or antagonists, but it just means so much more when you can give a monster that kind of depth. It makes the horror of this situation feel so much more real and grounded. And that, my friends, is a routine worth living for. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Don't forget your coats on the way out. It is cold out there, and drive safe. Thank you, bye.